Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sideline Shenanigans podcast today with Jacob Maggard
Colin Richardson.
and welcome back to another week of the NFL. Obviously, we are looking to do that mock draft soon. I know I've talked about it a lot, but I've got everybody lined up. I think I've got everybody good to go. We can maybe find a time to do it this week. But we will obviously be talking about this NFL season that is going on prior to doing that. If you guys do enjoy the videos, like, subscribe, comment, helps a ton to boost out the channel. Look for more college football content and NBA content that will be coming out now. Also, we'll probably get a quick review of the MLB postseason with Hoppy, as we just had one of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life, not just in the playoffs, but in general. 18 innings, and the Dodgers walk it off with the Freddie Freeman picking up the second walk-off homer in a World Series game, and he is the only player to ever do that. So he is becoming one of those guys in that top five first baseman of all time conversation potentially by the end of his career. But that is baseball talk. We are here to talk football, and we will dive into this Thursday night football game. Chargers versus Vikings, and the Chargers absolutely dominate them. Obviously, they do have the injury to Carson Wentz. He's going to be done for the season. That is a huge loss for the Vikings if McCarthy does face injury or isn't available or isn't ready to go. They're going to be kind of in a really rough spot with the quarterback play. They are looking like a team that had a positive season going, and now the season is all downhill. It doesn't look great for them now. And for the Chargers, they bounce back in a big way, get this huge win. Kamani Vidal is incredible in this one, 23 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Also works out of the backfield and catching passes. Really like his availability as a player. I like that they are going to him early and often, letting him get going. They haven't actually skipped a beat really with the last couple games rushing wise without Amarion. When it comes to Lad McConkey, he's woken back up from what was a rough start to the year where he wasn't doing much and they were just going to Quentin Johnston all the time. Now Quentin Johnston doesn't exist apparently, and they're going to Lad McConkey all the time, letting him be the lead guy. You see Herbert only completes 18 passes but throws for 227 yards and three touchdowns. Diced up that Vikings defense. And then to top it all off, Arunde Gadsden is a monster. The dude looks like a certified starter at the tight end position, and not like they needed more weapons. They have three guys at receiver; they're pretty good, and now they have a great tight end. So, really, really good Chargers team destroys the Vikings. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch this game, but it looked like Lad McConkey had a really good game. I know fantasy wise he did. And then I was surprised. I mean, the Chargers put up 37 points, and I don't think Quentin Johnson had a single stat. My dad has him in fantasy, and he scored 0 points. So rough game for him. But I mean, the Chargers didn't really need him in this one. And for the Vikings, like you said, they started off the season really good, but now it's starting to turn downhill for them a bit. And then, like you said, if McCarthy isn't ready to go, Wentz is injured, I really don't know who the starter would be. So that could be rough for the Vikings. But a big win for the Chargers. They had been struggling a little bit down the stretch, so good win for them.
Yeah, able to bounce back and move up to 5-3 on the season. We will roll into this next one here, starting out with our Sunday day slate. Dolphins taking on the Falcons, and the team that we can't get a read on continues to show us why we can't get a read on them. They lose 34 to 10 to a Dolphins team that just scored 3 points last week. I mean, it's unbelievable. You watch the Falcons and you say, who are they? What is this team? You never know what to expect out of them. For the Dolphins, all positives. Tua Tagovailoa looks like Tua Tagovailoa that doesn't turn the ball over, and of course has a great game. 4 touchdowns, 20 for 26, 205 yards. A-Chain has a great game as well, not just rushing for 67 yards, but has the receiving work on top of that. And then Jalen Waddle with a touchdown catch, nearly 100 yards. He was right there at it. And they obviously spread the ball around a ton. I mean, we see four passing touchdowns, and Waddle only catches one of them. So the ball's going out to a lot of different players. You like to see the Dolphins' offense look like this because they haven't done it all year. They talked about it before the game that Tua was going to have an possible eye injury. Maybe a good thing for Tua is to play with one eye open and one closed. I don't know, but this is the best he's played all year, and the Dolphins get a huge victory. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is honestly like kind of like the Dolphins of 2 or 3 years ago, whenever they first got Tyreek and he was healthy. They looked really good. Tua was throwing the ball all over the field, no interceptions, I don't think. And like you said with the Falcons, I mean, I really don't know if they're good or not. I mean, they did not have Michael Penix this game, so that was rough for him with Kirk. He's a good quarterback, but he's definitely on the downhill for the rest of his career, I believe. He had a rough game. He was able to get the ball to Kyle Pitts quite a bit,
Yeah.
so uh, I guess that's a good thing for the Falcons. Although Bijan, heck, he couldn't get anything going, and then the defense just could not stop the Dolphins, which is a rare thing to say this year with this Dolphins team. Which
Yeah.
they have weapons. They've got Achane and Waddle. They had Hill. That was unfortunate what happened to him. But I mean, there's weapons on this team if they could just stop turning the ball over and making stupid mistakes. I mean, they can do this. I'm not going to say every week, but they could be a good team. They definitely have pieces.
Yeah, they have surprising offensive ability that we just haven't seen.
Yeah.
You're right. It is kind of that flashback to the better Dolphins times. I don't think they're going to continue doing this, like you said, for the rest of the season, but it's nice for the Dolphins fans out there. They got to watch the old Tua play and play well. We will move on to this next one, and the biggest story here is the Jets did it. They got a win, and they got it in impressive fashion. 23 points in the fourth quarter. We've been talking about these crazy comebacks that have been happening this year. The Jets are just another team to add on to that list that came back and won it in the fourth. Have a crazy last possession to go down and score. And made the right decision when they were down by 14 to score and go for two, so that when they scored again, they kicked the extra point to take the lead. That analytical advantage that you get from doing that, it worked out for the Jets. And for the Bengals, you just saw this really awesome week last week where you look like maybe we can compete while Joe Burrow is on the couch. That's not the case. You just gave up 39 points to the Jets of all teams. There is not much worse offenses out there to give up 31 or 39 points to. It's very concerning if you're a Bengals fan. They did have an injury to one of their lead guys on the defensive line, and Hendrickson hasn't been as good this year as he was last. So all those defensive question marks, they're all showing back up for you. Statistically speaking, Jamar Chase has a really good game at 12 catches, 91 yards. I think Flacco's figured it out. Just throw the ball to him as many times as you can, and he will catch most of them. And then you look at the Jets star players in Justin Fields, who has yet to throw an interception. Very interesting statistic on the season. He's been very good. He also brings the rushing upside. But then he's also had really, really bad weeks where it might have been better if he just threw an interception or two so he didn't throw for 40 yards and just at least get the ball out there and let him make plays. So a really weird season from him. This is the kind of game where you're really happy that he's your quarterback, and there's been games where you're not. And then Brees Hall. This is like the trade target if you're one of these teams that desperately want to add a running back. If you're the Chiefs, I mean, you're calling an offer in the house. Brees Hall has bounced back in a huge way this season. 133 rushing yards and two touchdowns on the ground. He's also a great receiving threat out of the backfield. Love him as a player. Love the way he's playing. And if the Jets can keep this offensive efficiency up, man, they can win some games. But I don't know how much you can expect this to keep going. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, really surprising the way it started, especially the Bengals came out and they got a pretty big lead, and then
Yeah,
the Jets came back in that fourth quarter. The Bengals defense is just, I mean, it's atrocious.
yeah,
It's like the last 2 weeks, I don't know who's been worse, the Bengals or Pittsburgh on defense. But like you said with Justin Fields, he's thrown no interceptions. I know with his time in Pittsburgh last year, they started 4-2 with him. They didn't really have a good offense, so they kind of just told him don't turn the ball over.
right.
But in his situation with the Jets now, they need him to do more than just not turn the ball over. They need him to get things going, and he was able to do that this week against the Bengals. So that's a positive sign if you're a Jets fan, able to get the first win of the year. And then, like you said, with the Bengals, I mean, the offense was still incredible with Joe Flacco
Yep.
at quarterback. That's not the issue. It's the defense for sure. And then Chase with another 12 catches, 16 last week. He's a fantasy beast right now
Yeah.
with Joe Flacco at quarterback. So that'll be something to watch going forward.
Yeah, and I had my small investments in Jamar Chase because you had to have the first or second pick to get him this year. And luckily, in my ESPN league of 16 teams, I got the number one overall pick. Well, I picked Jamar Chase, and there's always the whole thing about don't re-pick a number one overall because they rarely finish as the number one. But I had faith in him as a player, and then he obviously sucked it up to start the year because his quarterback got hurt and Browning just couldn't get him the ball. And then Flacco shows up, and it's like every single fantasy receiver's dream, if you're an owner of that receiver, to have Joe Flacco, because that man is going to throw the ball 40 times a game, and it is lovely because he gets the ball to the players and lets them make plays. Something that even Browning just wasn't doing it, even though he had a good year last year. So great addition for the Bengals offense, but the defense didn't get any better, and that's clear and obvious there. Even when they bring back Burrow, there's still going to be those defensive question marks.
And I will mention real quick that Flacco is dealing with a shoulder injury right now, so he's questionable for this week. So that could be another huge blow for the Bengals if he's not able to play and they got to go back to Browning again.
Yeah. And when you're relying on 41-year-old Flacco, that sounds like something that could happen. And it's
Yeah.
very unfortunate because Jake Browning, it doesn't seem like the most pretty choice to have to revert back to.
No,
Uh,
definitely not.
we'll roll on into this next one here. And the Browns take on the Patriots in what is one of the craziest stat lines you'll ever see because the score doesn't represent it at all. Myles Garrett has 5 sacks in one game and loses by 19 points. How does your defense have 5 sacks and you lose 32 to 13 and get embarrassed? I don't know what to say other than Myles Garrett is a freak. He is clearly the best defensive player in football. He arguably is the best player in the sport, and he just so happens to play for the worst franchise in the sport, probably. I mean, it just sucks for him where when it comes to location. But I will say he got his bed and he's laying in it now. He signed the contract. He's there for a couple years, and unless somebody can fit 40 million on their roster and has a million first round picks to give up, I think he's there to stay. And for the Patriots, is the next Patriot dynasty starting? It seems like that could be the case. Drake May is a monster. I think everybody was hoping it wouldn't be a 4 year period between Brady and May, and then we're already back to a superstar being at the helm for the Patriots. They finally got TreVeyon Henderson going. Wow, you let your superstar rookie run the ball and he goes 10 for 75. I mean, it's not surprising. I think everybody could have told you that. And then you look at the receiving game, and it's like every week Drake May picks a different guy and says, "You're going to be the dude this week. I'm going to go to you, and you're going to make plays." Who else does that kind of sound like? Tom Brady seemed to do that quite well when he would just pick out a random dude and say, "That's my star receiver this week." He's done it with going to now Mac Hollins, 7 for 90 yards. He went to Kayshon Boutte a couple times. Stephon Diggs, that ain't a random guy. That's a pretty good receiver. But we're talking about Hunter Henry, Mac Hollins, and Kayshon Boutte as being his lead receiver in a lot of games this year. It just is so weird that he's able to do this. He's just such a star player. I think there's a lot of bright things in the future for the Patriots. For the Browns, hey, you got a Hall of Famer, a surefire one coming off the edge. Enjoy watching him play football because the rest of the team, it's not so fun to watch. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, this Browns offense is just, I mean, it's awful. And I feel for Myles Garrett, I really do. As a Steelers fan, I would like to say TJ Watts maybe 2 years ago or 3 years
Yeah.
ago, he was a better edge rusher, but it's not close right now. Myles Garrett is clearly the best defensive player in the NFL, like you said. I said last week that this game would be kind of a test for Drake May. If he performs well in this game, then he's definitely legit against this Browns defense. And it started off a little rough, but man, in the third quarter, they really picked it up.
Yeah.
And then another thing to note for the Browns is the rookie tight end Harold Fannin. He's been pretty good this year. I was able to watch this game, and he had a pretty big game, as
Yeah.
well as the linebacker for the Patriots, Robert Spillane. I know as a Steelers fan, he was an undrafted free agent, and they picked him up. And then he's had a pretty decent NFL career for an undrafted free agent, so pretty impressive things from him. And the Patriots finally gave the ball to TreVeyon Henderson. I don't know how many fumbles Ramondre Stevenson needed for them to finally
Yeah.
finally let him run the ball some. But like you said, the Patriots dynasty could definitely be here. They've got a good head coach. They've got a good quarterback. They've got weapons. I think we probably are back to another Patriots dynasty,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. They just can't have a bad time down there in New England. They've got some very historic franchises. They got the in between of the Patriots being what they were before to what they are now. They got to enjoy the Celtics going out and winning a championship. So Man, it would suck to be a Boston fan, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it would be so rough to be a fan of those teams up there. We'll go ahead and roll on into this next one in a place where it might be kind of rough to be a fan. If you happen to be a Giants, Mets, Islanders fan, it's kind of rough. And right now the Giants are back down to ground zero when it comes to finding the talent on the field. The biggest story here, obviously, is the injury to Cam Skattebo. He dislocated his ankle in one of the nastiest looking injuries you'll see. Don't look it up if you haven't seen it already, unless you have a good stomach and you want to look at a bad injury. That thing is out bad. Doubt that he plays anytime soon. Maybe the end of the year if he's cleared up and they want to risk it, but probably going to shut him down. You don't have a lot of potential with this roster. You're not going to win a lot of games. And then for the rookie quarterback in Dart, he still looked pretty good. The Eagles are a really good team, and he played well in both of the games against them. This one not as good as the last, of course, but still solid performance for the Eagles. You were waiting on this, and it is Saquon Barkley has returned, averaging over 10 yards a carry, 14 for 150 and a touchdown. That is what you need to see out of Saquon Barkley if this team wants to go back to the dominant fashion that they were. Jalen Hurts, I think, threw for 4 or 5 passing touchdowns, so the passing offense was still there, even with Barkley rushing for 150. This is a very, very scary team to go up against when they got all these things working for them. And then defensively, solid game. Again, you give up 20 points to the Giants, but that is your rival. They are playing good, and they want to come in there and beat you. You shut them down and got a huge victory. Your thoughts on this one?
I think Saquon opened the game his first carry with a 65-yard touchdown. So that would kind of remind you of Saquon from last year, which we definitely have not seen this year so far. So if the Eagles can get that and 4 passing touchdowns from Hurts, then I think they're definitely back. The main story with this one is the Scatterbo injury. Unfortunately, he was having such a good year and he was having a good game. He already had a receiving touchdown. I'm also concerned with Jackson Dart and possibly him getting injured because I mean he takes some hits. He refuses to slide, which I mean that's just his mentality. But I mean as a quarterback, sometimes you need to just get down and avoid taking big hits. But yeah, not much else to say about this one. The Eagles are kind of dominant, especially after the injury. I think Giants kind of got down after that. So yeah, but it was nice to see Saquon have a huge game again.
Yeah, you got what you expected out of him in the revenge game. He did have some sour ending down there in New York with the offers they offered him not being so great. He did want to stay, and so I think he showed that here with saying, "Hey, man, you probably wish you had me, even though your rookie's pretty great." Sadly, due to the injury, he was not able to show how good he is. We will roll on into this next one here, where we got exactly what we expected when we said Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, will take over. Uh, rough performance from Mr. Dalton himself. He goes for 175 yards, and majority of that was to Teteroa McMillan. Shows how good of a player he is, that he could even have a connection with the random backup quarterback that he's never touched the field with, and goes for 100 yards. So Dalton just he's not going to win you any games in the Big 2-5. That's not happening anytime soon. And then for the Bills, holy crap, just hand the ball to James Cook and let him cook. This dude 19 for 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. We've had a couple 200-yard rushers. James Cook joins the list, and the other name on there is Rico Dowdle. Where's he at? Oh wait, that's right. The Panthers stopped giving him the ball. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? He ran for 200 yards, then he goes for 200 scrimmage yards, and you're like, we don't want to play that guy anymore. Questionable decision by the Panthers. Hey, NBA scandal. You might want to check out the Panthers in the NFL. They stopped giving the ball to their best player. A lot of questions to be had for that Panthers team. Coming into this, they really had no chance against the Bills. Anyways, the Bills are pretty upset with how they've played, and they wanted a revenge game. They got it, 40-9. Your thoughts on this one?
Not much of a game at all here. Andy Dalton, he played terrible. He threw the interception, and then I know he had at least one fumble. Just not good things out of him. And then, like you said, with Teteroa McMillan, an impressive performance from him with Andy Dalton at quarterback, because I mean they weren't able to get anything going, and so at least there's one positive if you're a Panthers fan. For the Bills, I mean it's nothing but positives,
Yeah.
but not really anything bad to say about this game for the Bills. But I mean I don't know what the Panthers are doing with the running back position because Rico Dowdle still averaged like 7 yards a carry this week, and Chuba Hubbard averaged like three, and they gave him the ball 12 times and Rico Dowdle the ball 8 times. So like, I don't know what more does Rico have to do to get the ball.
It makes no sense. The only thought process you could have is Rico's playing on that 1 year deal, and you're thinking, well, if we play him too much, he might not want to stay, and if we don't play him enough, we might not be able to trade him. And it just don't overthink it. Play your best players the minutes that they deserve, and give them the carries and let them go off.
I mean, the Panthers are 4-4. It's not like they're a bad
Yeah,
team right now. They're in the hunt for the playoffs and every. I mean, I don't get it.
I don't get it at all. And especially when you have a backup quarterback
Yeah.
who has not had success in recent appearances. Give it to the running back that rushed for 200 yards. I mean, he can win you a game maybe. I get it. This one wasn't really all that winnable on paper, anyways. But to come out and put that kind of performance on the field is just depressing. The Bills, I think, got to rest James Cook and Josh Allen the whole fourth quarter, so that was nice. And it will be very important that the Panthers get Bryce Young back soon because it's not going to go well if they don't. We will move on to this next one here. Congratulations, Ratbirds. You got a victory. Tyler Huntley is definitely the guy that should have been starting from day one. It makes you really question why they ever gave Cooper Rush that role. Huntley fits the system to near perfection. He plays like Lamar Jackson. I mean, that should just be easy. It should be, okay, well, let's take the quarterback that plays similar to our MVP quarterback and play him. Nope, let's play a guy that stands still in the pocket like a stone. I mean, you just sometimes it makes you think, what are these guys doing behind the scenes? Did they just think that Cooper Rush was that much better? I don't know. Maybe they thought because we paid him, we have to play him. But the Ravens go out, play really good on the offensive side of the ball. Derrick Henry has another good game, gets in the end zone twice. I actually think he caught a couple passes too, which is interesting from Henry, who doesn't do that too often. Then for the Bears, they were stifled until the fourth quarter. They find a way to score some points there, but really not a great performance from what is supposed to be a high-powered offense. They got Rome Odunze going. 7 for 114 is a great game from him. Williams wasn't horrible. You hate the interception, but just no great running game there. Monungai, I think, actually ends up being the lead guy for him. There's a lot of questions for the Bears. They are still definitely in the playoff hunt at 4-3, and for the Ravens, a absolute must win, and you get it done without Lamar Jackson is very impressive. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is a huge win for the Ravens. I mean, they dropped this one. They're 1-6. So I mean, even with Lamar back, it's not looking good for the playoffs. Now you're 2-5. The Steelers lost, the Bengals lost. So I think it puts them kind of right back in the mix now with Lamar coming back. Hopefully, or not hopefully for me, but
Yeah.
uh, hopefully for them in the next game. So that was a huge win for them. That Roma Dunze connection was really going there in the first couple quarters, but I think in the second half it kind of slowed down a little bit. But I know in that first half it was like it seemed like that's all Caleb Williams was going to. I'm not real sure what happened there in the second half, but a pretty good game for him. And then this is another like I don't know why Tyler Huntley was not
Yeah.
starting the whole time. Cooper Rush has never shown anything, at least for
No.
me, that he should be a starter in the NFL. Which Tyler Huntley really hasn't either. I mean, he did make a Pro Bowl technically, which I don't know
Yeah.
how that ever happened. But, yeah, but I mean, Huntley fits the system perfectly. He literally is like a bad Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I, don't- I don't know why he hasn't been there the whole time, but yeah, huge win for the Ravens, and I think it makes the AFC North interesting moving forward.
Yeah, and like you said, who knows what they turn into with a healthy Lamar. It's good for them that they're able to rest him another game and Huntley can go out there and score 30 points. And I think the biggest thing is when you had these issues at the quarterback position, I get it. Derek fumbled a lot. It doesn't matter. It's Derrick Henry. You give him the ball, you let him make plays. They decided to do that a couple times here in the last 3 weeks, and guess what? They've got their offense back rolling up a little bit. It's still kind of shaky, and the defense isn't fully healthy yet. But that team is definitely scary if they get everybody back. It's just 2-5. How can you dig out of that hole with the schedule you have left? We'll roll on to our next one here with the Niners taking on the Texans. And CJ Stroud has a rookie CJ Stroud type of game. Goes off for 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. 30 for 39, a really, really good completion percentage. Finds a bunch of different weapons, goes to Xavier Hutchinson, who he did a couple weeks ago and scored a touchdown, goes out to him again. He got Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, the draft picks from this last draft that just happened. So creating a decent little connection with some of those guys. And Nick Chubb, again, as old as he is, still adds a little bit in the backfield as a rusher. And Woody Marks, the young player coming out of USC, has been a difference maker for them. He can catch passes out of the backfield. That's kind of what he was drafted to do. But he ran the ball well this week, 62 yards on the ground. Overall, great performance from the Texans. And then for the Niners, what happened defensively? How did you give up that many yards? Those are the questions you'll be asking behind the scenes. I do know that George Kittle had a touchdown, and good for him on National Tight End Day to get it done. But a lot of questions still for the Niners at 5-3. Don't think they have, too much to be worried about. If they can get everybody healthy and get rolling, they should be good. For the Texans, maybe this is a positive sign of the future for the rest of the season. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think this is a big win for the Texans, getting them to 3-4 now, kind of back in the mix for the playoffs. And then for the 49ers, I think once you get Brock Purdy back healthy, you should be fine. The Texans were able to like almost completely eliminate Christian McCaffrey. He's
Yeah,
been having a really good year this year. So being able to just take him away was huge for them. And then CJ Stroud, he looked like rookie Stroud, like you said. We've kind of been waiting to see this from him. I guess his offensive line probably protected him a lot better this
yeah,
week. I know that's been a huge struggle for them. And then I'm a big fan of the Texans backfield right now between Woody Marks and Nick Chubb. Nick
yeah,
Chubb's a little bit older, but I think they complement each other really well. So, yep, I think this is a huge win for the Texans. And then the 49ers are going to be fine once they get back healthy, like you said. So, big win there for the Texans, and we'll see if they can make a little push moving forward. Although I don't think that they
yeah.
can catch up to the Colts in the AFC South.
No, yeah, we'll talk about them in a bit. They are still on a roll, and it did help that they were playing the Titans of all teams. But we'll get going into this next one here. And when I talk about Titans, and I think of the Jets who won a game earlier, this is the other team down there with them at the bottom of the barrel, and the New Orleans Saints getting whooped 23-3. Spencer Rattler, man, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. He kind of looked like he was playing well. He wasn't turning the ball over a ton. He was playing good enough to where the question wasn't, well, who's our quarterback going to be in the draft? It was kind of, oh, well, they might have somebody. They might have a bridge guy. Last 2 games, nope, never mind. They have decided it is game over for Spencer Rattler. He has been benched, and Tyler Shuck is going to be the guy going forward. It makes sense after the way he played in this one and the way he played last week. He just can't be your answer. Maybe it was just false hope, and he had a good little stretch because teams hadn't figured out how to play against him, but they figured out get after him and he'll make mistakes, and he surely did that. The Buccaneers defense was incredible. They really helped out this offense that's just destroyed by injuries right now. They go out and score a defensive touchdown, but it had 2 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries. They single-handedly beat me in fantasy in my ESPN league with 26 fantasy points from my defense. Sickening, to say the least. I was projected to win by 15 points. And then you look at the other statistics. Of course, our front runner in MVP 2 weeks ago in Baker has stepped back and not been as good. You can't hate on him too much, man. I mean, he's playing with nobody at receiver. Unfortunately, they're all injured, and it sucks because they were so good. They were maybe the best receiving core in the NFL. Ibuka, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin, when fully healthy, would be incredible. And now he has none of them. So he's just got to rely on his backfield, and Sean Tucker is now the guy that takes the ball and has the most carries. A lot of weird things happen in this game, but the Bucks moved to 6-2, and man, that's all they're worried about. I guess if there was any game for your offense to go to sleep, it's the Saints.
Yeah. Uh, I think this is a promising sign for the Saints, honestly, moving forward with Tyler Shuck, however you say his name.
Yeah,
You, I don't want to say wasted because he hasn't really played, so you don't really know. But if you're not going to play him, then you did waste a second round pick on him.
yeah,
So I think it's good for them to actually start playing him. Rattler, he didn't play bad, but it's just you're 1-7. At some point, you got to give the other guy a shot. And then for the Buccaneers, the offense really couldn't get things going. But I mean, they have nobody right now. They have Baker, and I mean that's pretty much it.
yeah,
So I guess a good win for them, but
yeah.
you were playing the Saints. I think if they don't get healthy and play a pretty good team, they might be in a little bit of trouble. I think we saw that against the Lions, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for the Saints, Shaheed, he's been picking it up the last couple weeks, so that's a good sign for them. But yeah, I guess we'll see who the Bucks have coming up next, and
Yeah.
then hopefully for them, it's nobody too
Yeah,
good.
you don't want to play a great team right now with the tons of injuries that have happened to this team so far. It is definitely very worrying if they don't get those dudes back. If you run into a buzzsaw or one of these really hot teams, it could get ugly because you're 6-2. You would think on paper, hey, this is a really good team, but they're without all their stars. They do get the bye week, I believe, this week, so that could be really, really good for them. Get maybe an Emeka to rest up and hopefully get back. Chris Godwin isn't on the IR, so he can come back immediately. And then I think Bucky is close. I would assume to returning. They need him as soon as possible because of the injury to Evan and losing him as the outside target. So but we'll see what happens. It's a very interesting team that, when fully healthy, look incredible, and without all their guys, their offense didn't have a great week last week. Moving on to our next one here, Cowboys taking on the Broncos, and the Broncos score 44 points, scoring 14 in the first, in the fourth, 13 in the second. Are all those quarters really, really good performance from their offense. Bo Nix has 4 touchdowns and 247 yards and only 19 completions. Meeting up with his teammate on the outside and Troy Franklin, who was his teammate in college as well. Makes sense that connection is already really strong. It continues to be that way. 6 for 89 and 2 tugs. Great, great game from Troy Franklin. And then for their run game, J.K. Dobbins, 15 carries, 111 yards. And then R.J. Harvey had an incredible day as well as the other running backup back to Dobbins. Overall, phenomenal performance from that Broncos offense. One of the best performances they've had this season. And then you look at the other side of the ball with, their defense that is so strong. The injury concerns. That is going to be the talking point for them moving forward. Pat Surtain is expected to miss weeks, not necessarily going to hit the IR, but even if he doesn't, that could mean 3 weeks of time. And if you lose your number one corner, especially when he is the defensive player of the year, it is a big, big loss. And we'll see how they do moving forward. They did just face one of the toughest offenses in the entire league and held them to 24 points, but he was playing in parts of that game. So it'll be important to get him back as soon as possible. And in his time off, you got to keep up the defensive performances, but especially you got to keep scoring these points. For the Cowboys, the Dak Prescott MVP race is toned down a little bit as well because his team is bad, but also he struggled. This is the first game that he didn't look like this MVP world beater level quarterback. And although he has those weapons on the outside, he didn't really get them going in this game. So if you are a Cowboys fan, this was probably a tough one to watch. Probably been like that for quite a few games though, because they give up 40 points all the time. I mean, their defense is embarrassingly bad. Could have one of the best players in the league coming off the edge, and maybe he'd make a little bit of a difference. But Jerry didn't want Michael Parsons on his team, so Michael Parsons doesn't play for them anymore. Complete disrespect from Jerry shows why the team doesn't deserve to win games, and they did lose another one because of the points that they just can't stop giving up. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, the Cowboys have a great offense. It's just that defense is absolutely terrible. Well, definitely one of the worst in the league.
Yeah.
And then for the Broncos, great offensive performance. Like we said, the Cowboys defense is not very good. But J.K. Dobbins with 111 yards and no touchdowns they let Harvey get 2 touchdowns. Now come on. I've
Come
got
on,
Dobbins in fantasy.
give
Let's get in the end zone at least once.
give J.K. the ball in the red zone.
Let's share it a little bit there. And then I know I was watching the ESPN before the game start, and they were talking about how Pat Surtain, whoever he's not covering, is going to absolutely expose Riley Moss. And Riley Moss finished the game with 4 pass deflections. So I think he stepped up for them in a big way, guarding whoever Pat Surtain was not. And then obviously Pat Surtain's Pat Surtain. So uh, that's going to be rough for them. Maybe with his injury, I don't know how bad that is, but if he could miss a lot of time, then that's going to be rough. Like you said, Defense Player of the Year, definitely one of the best defensive players in the NFL at the moment. So that could be something to look out for this Broncos defense. But other than that, a really good win there against a decent Cowboys team.
Yeah, again, they've had the offensive performances going for them all year. They just don't have a defense, and it's going to be a concern moving forward. If you are the Broncos, just lock in and perform well without your superstar in Pat Surtain. We'll roll on to this next one here. Titans taking on the Colts. Woo! Was that fun football to watch? We suck. We are so horrible. There is, I mean, he was like in the coach's face this week. Cam Ward just like, can we go for it on fourth down? We're on their 43-yard line, getting our hind ends kicked, and we're like, let's punt. Let's punt the ball away. I mean, investigate us for trying to lose games because it seems we are because Cam Ward didn't understand it, and I don't think the rest of the Titans nation understood it. Again, another game that at the half you're in a good game. It's a 10-point game with the number one team in the NFL, and in the second half you don't show up to play football. I don't think it's Cam Ward's fault that he's throwing to a bunch of rookies, and I will say for the positive side of things, those rookies are playing well. Alec Eomanor had a good week. Chimere Dike has really stepped up. Seems that maybe he should have been playing over Tyler Lockett, who we cut. And again, we won't give a guy like Xavier Restrepo a chance. I don't understand it. There's a lot of things this team needs to do. They are nowhere near a team that can compete for a playoff spot, maybe not even a team that can compete for 5 wins next season. They're going to have to make a lot of different changes. They're going to have to go out and find a great head coach. Again, I'm hoping that the Ravens continue to suck and they'll fire Harbaugh and he can come on down and fit in perfectly with a new shiny object at the quarterback position and Cam Ward. For Cam Ward, I do think again it's not all his fault with the young guys. He does have to get a little bit better though. He's not ready to be a superstar in the league, and the steps that he's taking in the right direction are good. But we'll see what happens. Other news with the Titans: we trade Roger McCreary. That trade it looks bad when you're looking on paper. You're saying, man, you're trading a starting slot corner who's actually pretty good. Problem is, there's a whole rule in the NFL that seems to be with everybody. You don't pay slot corners. When their contract comes up, you trade them because they're just not a super valuable position. You can pretty much draft anybody to fill that role, and they might not be as good as Roger McCreary, but they're not going to cost as much as Roger McCreary. He doesn't have the ability to stretch to the outside and play that outside corner either. So they went over and got him with the Rams. They're a team that can definitely use him. They are already pretty good defensively. They just get better doing that. And the Titans go out and get a pick swap. That anything is good. Anything is good when you're not going to re-sign the guy and he's not going to come back to your team next year. It's going to add value. We get a fifth round pick out of him. He was definitely better than that, and it's probably again on paper it seemed like a bad trade because he's a third round corner at least. We're going to look to move a lot of guys. The market is wide open. Calvin Ridley could be moved. Apparently, that is a rumor floating around that they want to just free up as much money as possible and try to sign every big free agent. Arden Key seems to be a guarantee mover. He would be one of the cheapest available edge rushers, and he's a pretty good player. Draymond Jones is available. Chigakonkwo on the final year of his contract. We would love Gunnar Helm to step up and be the guy next year. He seems available. I can't think of teams that would desperately need a tight end right now. Maybe the Steelers want a fourth one, so we could ship him over there to you guys, and I could run a four tight end set at some point. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with all these moving parts and pieces. And then I will stop talking about the Titans. They don't deserve that much time, anyways, and talk about the number one team in the NFL, in the Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones is literally an MVP frontrunner, and he's not first because he's second to his running back in Jonathan Taylor, who is a freak. 12 carries, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Has had multiple 3 touchdown games, or this season has another 2 touchdown game. It's unbelievable watching this dude run the ball. He is fully healthy. He is ready to go. He has rushed for over 850 yards on the season. He is clearly the lead guy in the running backs category when it comes to who's the best in the league. He's not had a bad game, truthfully. It is so impressive to watch this team play football at such a high level that nobody expected. Again, not to gloss over Daniel Jones, he's having an awesome season. He has 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. All that goes to Pittman and a few other guys. Pittman, 95 yards and a touchdown. Just overall, what a performance from the Colts. And are they a legit Super Bowl contender? Because right now it seems that they are. And I just can't believe it. Because I don't know what happened other than adding Daniel Jones. And is Daniel Jones that good? Apparently so, because the Colts have turned into the best team in football. Colin, your overall thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to catch this game, but I mean, Jonathan Taylor averaged over 12 yards a carry. I mean, I don't care who the quarterback is. If your
Yeah.
running back is averaging 12 yards a carry, I think your quarterback's going to play pretty well because they have to focus on Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that is impressive. And then, I mean, like I said, I wasn't able to watch this one, so I did see Cam Ward finished with a touchdown and an interception. So I'm not sure how well he played, but
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not too worried about him. I know his arm talent's there. And then as the Titans continue to build around him, and then next year and year after that, and he gets more and more weapons, I think he'll be just fine. But the Colts, I think they are absolutely a Super Bowl contender, especially if Jonathan Taylor stays healthy, which is the key for them, I think. Daniel Jones has been playing good, but I don't know if he would be playing as good if he didn't have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. And then I'm not sure how good another. I mean, obviously this Colts offensive line has to be really good
Yes.
for a running back to average 12 yards a carry, but or over 12 yards a carry. But I'm not sure that another running back would be able to do what Jonathan Taylor's doing. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. And then another thing for the Titans, how I don't know how to say his name, Chimere Dike or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Tim Brady.
He's had back-to-back pretty good games,
Mhm.
so maybe that's a fantasy addition to look out for.
Yep.
The Titans are going to be fine, but just have to struggle through the rest of this year. And the Colts, I mean, they're incredible.
Yeah, and I think the Colts are a great example of a team that turned it around immediately. There is things you can do to change your team, but it does help when you've got the let's just get healthy thing going because all they had to do is just get Taylor back healthy, Pittman back healthy, and go out and add Tyler Warren and Daniel Jones, and man, they have built a super offense. Not to mention they have Josh Downs, they have Alec Pierce. There is pieces all over that offense that are great, and on top of that, I love that you mentioned it. This offensive line is a wrecking ball. I mean, they are so, so good. They have Quentin Nelson, arguably the best offensive lineman in the NFL. They have so many good players around what is a beast of a running back and a great running quarterback. It just lines up perfect. This team is just built perfect. And Shane Steichen has proved that once again, if you go get a offensive mastermind and give him the pieces to build an offense, you can win football games in the NFL. If you're the Titans, look at that mold and say, who's the next offensive mastermind? If you're going to get anybody other than John Harbaugh, please let it be an offensive mastermind. I don't know if there's too many of them out there. It's obviously not easy to find, but if you can, it's got to be the guy you go after. We will roll on past that one into the unfortunate loss of your Steelers. They play a really good first half. They play a promising second, start of the second half, the third quarter, still winning, but then the fourth, they let you down. I know you were in attendance. How was the whole game? I'll let you talk first here.
Yeah, like we said, the start of the game was pretty good. They gave up a touchdown, I think, on the opening drive. And then after that, they were able to shut the Packers down for the rest of the second half. Some missed kicks there by McManus for the Packers, but I don't know what's happening to them in the second half of games. I mean, it was the same thing with the Bengals. They were able to get ahead, and then the second half comes around and they just cannot get a stop. I mean, they played Renegade, which is normally it's time for the defense to make a huge play, and then right after it, man, Kraft comes back with a huge, huge gain, and then I mean, after that, it was like 3 plays later, touchdown. So that was kind of the backbreaker for the game. And then fans started leaving, Pittsburgh fans did, and then Rodgers said that they had to go to a silent count at home against the Packers. And I will say there were so many Packers fans there. It was actually incredible. The Packers fans, shout out to them. They travel insanely well.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the Packers side, and I would say it was probably like 40-60 Pittsburgh on that side of the field. So I mean, that was really impressive, especially for Steelers. I mean, they're known for selling out their stadium and taking over other people's stadium, and the Packers did it to them this week. But don't worry, we just traded for Kyle Duggar and we picked up MVS.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for the Steelers to go back to the Super Bowl now.
Yes.
No, I don't know. They've had one sack in the past 2 games, which is just not them. Which I will say last week it was Jamar Chase with his slants. So they're getting rid of the ball quick. And then this week it was Tucker Kraft hitting him in the flats, and then he was so good run after the catch. Man, he broke so many tackles. I don't know where that came from him. I wasn't familiar with his game.
Yeah.
Huge game for him. And then at one point, Jordan Love completed 20 straight passes. So
Uh,
I, I mean, I guess it's good that they traded for Duggar because whatever's in the secondary right now is not getting the job done. But I don't think he's going to get the job done either for him. So, but I mean, it is just kind of disappointing game overall for Pittsburgh. One that I obviously was hoping they would win. I hope they win every game, but just disappointing overall. I mean, Warren ran the ball good. They had, it's not on the offense, it's completely on the defense. I don't know what the defense does moving forward. They're the highest paid defense in the NFL, and they just cannot get a stop. And they're all aging, so I don't. It might be time to start like I don't want to say moving pieces because they're first place in their division, but at the same time, they're not getting any younger. So either add more pieces or start getting picks for them, I guess.
Yeah, and I was about to ask you that exact question. Do you think that the age of those players, a lot of your superstars being older guys, is that hurting them in the second half? Is that age a factor?
Yeah, I think absolutely with especially with Ramsey and Slay, they love to put them in single coverage, and I mean they're not as fast as they once were, so they cannot cover, and especially if Pittsburgh's not getting any pressure, they can't cover for that long, so they're just getting burnt. It's almost every play.
Yeah, and I will say, I know we kind of underplayed the addition of Kyle Duggar, but 2 years ago, Kyle Duggar was a really good football player. Now, has he had some down seasons? Yes. Has he been not great? Yes. But can he tap back into that potential, especially in a place that knows how to get that out of you, especially because of the success they've had from DBs in the past? I think that that's a good addition to go out and get him because he maybe can bring, get back to what he was doing a few years ago when he had a 75 tackle season and was a really good player. That is a good piece, I think, for them. And they moved around in the secondary in the offseason. They got rid of Minka Fitzpatrick, and that move was questioned. But if you got to get a safety and he can play some decent football for you, it might not be a bad addition. And of course, MVS, that one is kind of well, he played with Rodgers at some
I
point.
guess that's all they're going off of on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. He played with Aaron, so he might be pretty good. But they definitely need receiver help, like desperately. They need a number two. I will say Roman Wilson had some success, and he's supposed to be the guy in the slot position for him. They drafted him out of Michigan. He was phenomenal there, and then he didn't get to play really at all last year due to injuries, and then some kind of not really being in the favor of the coaching staff because of not playing and being a rookie. And so maybe they go out and move for an outside guy, but maybe Wilson or yeah, he can slot in as your slot receiver the rest of the way. And the tight ends, it's funny that the team that uses the tight ends the most got beat up by a tight end. That's unfortunately kind of like I don't know exactly what the word would be there, but it just seems like that's obviously what's going to happen. When you watch football, you're like, you know things are going to happen, and obviously the team that uses their tight ends gets beat by a tight end. I mean, no duh. It seems like the Packers are back to that really, really good offense with the great defense. Now, again, the Steelers still play good offensive football, scored points, and again, it's not their fault at all. They have to figure out the defensive issues. I will say the play to Kraft, I don't know how Jordan Love got that off. It's one of the most unconventional throwing motions I've ever seen in my life. And then the play itself was like a lob up to dunk a basketball throw. I mean, and then catches it and runs for 60 yards. I mean, it's just an unbelievable play. A lot of things didn't go the Steelers' way, and they lost by 10 to a really good team. I think you've got nothing to worry about when it comes to being able to still be at the top of that division. And none of those teams have really proven to me that they're all that great. And the Steelers have won good football games. So I think there's still positives to look forward to. You got anything else you want to add about that one?
Number 74 is reported as an eligible receiver. It seems like that's every play for them right now.
Yes. Yeah, they are running out the heavy package and they are running the football. That is something that the Steelers would love to do. It is not as successful this week, but also that fourth quarter it kind of got away from them a little bit, and then maybe why they went away from the run game late. We will go ahead and move on to Monday Night Football and what was exactly what we predicted. I mean, to a T, we said this won't be close, and the Chiefs will run away with it. Now, I will say it didn't happen until the second half because the first half, Patrick Mahomes played one of the worst first halves he's played in a long, long time. Throws two interceptions and just doesn't play great football. But that doesn't matter. It's Patrick Mahomes, and in the second half, he turns into the guy you expect and has an unbelievable second half. He finds the connection with Travis Kelce, And dare I say, Travis Kelce getting married to Taylor Swift's the best thing for his career because he's found another year. He's bounced back and turned into Travis Kelce once again. This is what, 4 straight weeks of him being their lead target, their lead guy, and he doesn't always lead them in receiving yards, but he's finding ways to be a useful player again. Last year, he had 2 catches per game on average. That was his season statistics, 2 receptions. This year, it's clearly back to being a focal point, and so that's very, very important for them. Pacheco, again, it's not the answer at running back. Kareem Hunt had a good game, scored those touchdowns, but he's only good in the red zone. So I think they need to add a running back, and I think they really need to add an up and a north-south guy for up and down the field. And maybe the red zone, Kareem Hunt can take that job and run with it. It's been good, but up and down the field, it just can't be Pacheco all year. I just don't think he's great. Uh, other things to say, Rashee Rice is incredible. He's shown why he needs to be playing for this team. He's immediately put in 2 straight 20+ point performances in fantasy for them. So obviously a huge piece to get back. For the Commanders, their defense isn't good. It just is not a good defense, and it's after having a good first half. Then they crap the bed and have a horrible second half. So it just what you expect out of them, honestly, from what they've put on paper. Mariota does not play great. He doesn't play horrible football, but just not good enough to beat the Chiefs of all teams. Overall, what was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, another impressive win for the Chiefs. We started the year, they were struggling, but now they are definitely completely back, I think.
Yep.
I think honestly that their success, it doesn't run through Travis Kelce, but whenever he's hot, man, they're tough to beat.
Yep.
And then, like you said, with the addition of a running back, I was just thinking that this team would be so scary if they added like a Brees Hall from
Yep.
the Jets. That would be really really scary for the rest of the league,
Yep.
because their defense is still incredible. It's been incredible throughout the whole dynasty, pretty much. It still continues to dominate. And then, like I said, the offense is back. For the Commanders, without Jaden Daniels, I don't really think they have too much to look forward to. Mariota's not played bad, but he's just not like a exciting player. I wouldn't say at this point in his career. Definitely was early in his career with the Titans. So I'm not sure how long Daniels will be out. Have you heard anything about that?
I'm not 100% sure. I know that he was kind of that week to week is what they designated him. So I think it's going to be all about what do they think? Do they think he's good to go? If not, he's not going to play. So it's definitely an interesting thing there.
Yeah, and then the Commanders' defense played good in the first half, but the second half, the Chiefs started to run away with it, and I think that could be another thing, like you mentioned with the Steelers, that their age is kind of maybe what's hurting them in the second half. I think that could be the same thing here with the Commanders, with like Bobby Wagner and others that are aging players that are good, but have a little bit of age on them.
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore would be another one of those guys that's getting up there in age. He's been in the league for a little bit, and he's definitely struggled once he arrived in the Commanders uniform. But overall, if you're the Commanders, it's starting to look rough. It's starting to look like the season might slip away from you. I will say the positives of Terry McLaurin returning. He made some unbelievable catches. His touchdown was unbelievable. His catch on the sideline is one of the craziest catches you'll see because it clear as day looks like he's out of bounds. They go review it, and his hip touches down like right in bounds. It's all he got down to, just his hip. The rest of his body, as soon as his feet touched down, he'd have been out of bounds. Makes an unreal catch on really good coverage. He was not being penalized either. Like there was no DPI. It was just good coverage, and he makes a crazy catch. So really good performance from him. To give another shout out to our guy Hokie Jalen Lane had some more stuff drawn up for him. They seem to really want to use him in this offense. Just unfortunately, without Daniels, you're right. The attack is not as strong. You got anything else left for this recap we went over there?
Yeah, I believe Chamari Connor had a pretty good game too for the
Yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah.
So another Hokie
Another
there.
another Hokie. Yeah, we'll always give the props to the Hokies. As you can see the flag in the back. If you guys have watched any of this channel, you'll know big Hokies fans here from the both of us. The most interesting thing for us now going forward could potentially be that upcoming hire. That should be coming soon if you go off of the basis of when you hire a coach. It's about mid-November, so it's getting close to maybe a hiring season, and that could be fun there. Obviously, we're talking NFL now, though, so we'll move on to the schedule for next week. Looking over at that schedule now, you'll see we got Thursday night football on Prime. Baltimore taking on Miami in Hard Rock Stadium should be a pretty fun game now if you get the same two teams that played last week. I do think Baltimore is going to have Lamar Jackson back, although that's on short notice of a Thursday night. Harbaugh said he should return. If Lamar Jackson's playing for this team, I'm favoring them pretty big over the Miami Dolphins, who I just think had a great week. I don't trust that that's the actual team. So give me the Ravens to get a win here on the road.
Yeah, I'm with you. If Huntley was starting, I would maybe go with the Dolphins here after the week they had. But with Lamar coming back, I think that the Ravens should get a win here. I think the Dolphins, like I said, they have pieces, but I think that was kind of a one-time hit for them. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens here.
Moving on to our next one here, starting our Sunday day slate with Chicago going on the road to take on Cincinnati. And I guess give me my first upset of the week. I'm going to say that this Cincinnati offense keeps on a rolling the way they have been. They got to bounce back after that loss. And for Chicago, I just don't love the things that's going on down there. I don't trust their run game. It's so wishy-washy, and I don't love their defense. So give me Cincy to just throw the ball all over the yard, and Higgins and Chase and whoever else wants to catch passes, because Flacco's sure as heck throwing them. Give me Cincy to get a win here.
Yeah, I think this will be a definitely a high scoring game because the Bengals defense is no good and their offense is incredible.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna go with the Bears in this one. I can't go with the Bengals after they just lost to the Jets last week, so I'm gonna go with the Bears here.
Fair enough. I think that the heat behind the loss might get them going, is what I'm hoping for in my pick there. Next one here, Vikings going on the road to Detroit with Carson Wentz. Maybe they have a chance, but I still think even if he played, this team would lose this game. So give me Detroit, and I actually give me to cover that spread. I think Detroit's offense is one of the best in the league, and their defense has actually played really well too. I think they're going to give it to the Vikings here.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Detroit's coming off the bye week. They should be pretty well rested. Minnesota's been struggling here recently, and that Detroit offense is incredible. So I'm gonna go with the Lions here.
Moving on to our next one, it's at Lambeau Field. Green Bay comes off of a big win over your Steelers, but even just the win is a good thing. But to beat a team that's pretty good, and now you get to play the Red Rifle and the Carolina Panthers. I think Green Bay will take this one handedly, and that spread at 12 and a half. I think they could even potentially cover that.
Yeah, with you here too. If Bryce Young was playing, it might be close, but definitely not with Andy Dalton. And that this could put the Panthers season at jeopardy with a loss here, especially if Bryce Young is out for a while. So I'm gonna go with the Packers here.
Moving on to our next one here, Tennessee taking on the Chargers in what should be an absolute bloodbath. The Chargers come off scoring 37 last week, and their defense is really good. We come off scoring 14, and our defense is really bad. And we just traded away our last starting corner. We're down to zero left. We've traded away our two starters, and L'Jarius Sneed is now on the IR. We signed someone today that will probably play on Sunday. Think they'll probably beat us by 40. Give me the Chargers in a blowout.
Yeah, that's another fairly easy pick here. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. The Titans really haven't shown too much this year. They did get the one win, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I will quickly say to give some love to the boys, not all hate. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster. Maybe he gets in the backfield and
Sure.
causes some havoc in this one. He could shut down that run game that is good and run through a couple guys that aren't necessarily great starting running backs. And then for Cam Ward, I mean, it's all about what he does. And please give the man his favorite target in Xavier Restrepo. Let him throw the ball to him a little bit. Maybe we'll get some good connections built. I do love all our rookies, and I hope they keep playing well. And like you said, hey, Chimere DK is the all-purpose leader in all of football. We're gonna have two all pros, baby. We're gonna have two all pros on a one-win football team. It's gonna happen. I'm calling it now. We'll move on to this next one here. Atlanta taking on New England in New England. The team that we can never get a read on, as we've said time and time again, takes on the dynasty that has begun. Give me New England and Drake May to get a huge win here in Foxborough.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Give me a New England here. You can't get a read on the Falcons. This would be a game they would win probably,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go with New England.
Yeah, they do have the number of that division. They did just happen to beat the Bills not too long ago. We'll move on to this next one here. San Fran taking on New York in MetLife, the stadium that players go and get hurt in, unfortunately. I do still like San Francisco in this game. I hope Brock Purdy's playing, but even if he isn't, I hate New York's losses. They've lost Malik Neighbors, their superstar receiver. He's out for the year. They've lost Cam Skattebo, who more than likely will miss the rest of the season. And with all those injuries and the issues that they already had on the offensive side of the ball, I just think it's going to hurt them too much. And San Fran is coached so well, needs a bounce back game. Give me them here on the road.
Yep, I'm with you on this one too. San Fran, I just think they're too well coached and have too many weapons, especially with the injuries that New York's facing. So I'm gonna go with the 49ers here.
Moving on to our next one, it is your boys, the Steelers, taking on the number one team in the AFC. Can they get a victory here? I do think it helps a ton that they are playing in Acrisure. And if any team could slip up and coming into a stadium that's really difficult to play in, the Colts could. But I just think they're too good right now. They're engine firing on all cylinders. Their run game is incredible, and I think that the Steelers actually have been pretty good at containing some running backs, but others have slipped out and had great games. It just concerns me with how good they are on both sides of the ball. And I never, ever thought I would be saying this, but the Colts go in and win in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one too. This Steelers defense is just they haven't shown me anything the past 2 weeks, and then the first 3 weeks of the season they were bad too. So I am super skeptical of this defense. Maybe the addition of Kyle Duggar helps a little bit, but I am terrified of what Jonathan Taylor is about to do to this defense. Uh, and I do think that the Colts will cover that line too. It's pretty friendly towards the Steelers in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with the Colts here.
Yeah, I think some of that could be the boost of playing in Pittsburgh. Just such a good home field environment, but you're right, it's just a tough team to beat. The next one here, an interesting line. Could that possibly be the injury of Pat Surtain, leading it to be that way? Denver going on the road to Houston, and technically I'm taking an upset here. Give me the Broncos to move to 7-2 on the season. I think even without Surtain, Riley Moss showed you what he can do on the outside, covering the number one receiver. And if Nico Collins isn't a go, Houston doesn't have a superstar out there that they're going to go to often. So I think Denver can get it done. I love their offense, the way they're scoring points. I don't know if Houston can keep up. So give me Denver to get a win.
I'm going to go with the upset here and pick Houston. Technically not an upset, but I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Houston played really well last week, and I think especially if they get Nico Collins back this week, that'll be huge for them. So I'm gonna go with them this week to beat the Broncos.
Moving on to our next one here, Jacksonville taking on Las Vegas in Allegiant Stadium. I don't like Vegas at all. I think they're pretty bad, and the spread is really friendly. If you wanted to bet on Jacksonville here, I'm gonna roll with them. I think they're gonna get it done. I don't think they're a great team, but I just think Vegas is worse.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I don't think Jacksonville is a great team, but the Raiders really haven't shown me anything this year so far. So I'm gonna go with the Jaguars.
This next one here is probably going to be the quickest pick we've ever made in the video filming history of the NFL picks. Give me the Rams and by a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one as well. I don't think Tyler Shuck. I don't think he really stands a chance against the Rams this week. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Moving on to our next one here, the one we can spend a little bit longer on because it is a highly anticipated matchup between the two top teams in the AFC as expected prior to the season starting. Kansas City going to Buffalo. Think that is a big deal here. Josh Allen has had a lot of success against Mahomes in the regular season, not so much in the postseason. But I do believe that Buffalo is a team that is rolling right now after getting the run game really established. Kansas City is extremely scary. Their defense has been great. It's been great for the last 2 to 3 seasons. Their offense, with Arashi Rice healthy, with Travis Kelce back to the level that he's playing at, Xavier Worthy being used in so many unique ways, and the three running backs that they use out of the backfield, it's a really hard offense to stop. But if anybody can do it, Buffalo can, especially with that home field advantage. Give me the Buffalo Bills to get the technical upset victory here in their home stadium. I just like Josh Allen. I love James Cook. Think this team is really, really good, and just think that Josh Allen finds a way in his home stadium.
Yeah, I don't think I've picked against Patrick Mahomes the whole time we've been doing this, and I'm going to keep that streak going. I don't know what it is. I just have a lot of faith in Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, and I think they're going to get another win here and keep this win streak rolling. Which is, I mean, if they win this one, they're definitely back for sure.
Yeah.
This This is definitely the best game of the week, though. I think
Yeah.
there's been a ton of games that have been pretty easy to pick, but this one's should be a really good game. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he is the boogeyman after all, Colin. It might be why you're rolling with him so often.
Yep.
We'll move into this next one here. Seattle taking on Washington in Landover, Maryland. Should be a really, really fun game. Seattle is a good football team, and they only got a 2.5 point spread. I guess they're really banking on Washington getting Jaden Daniels back and that defense playing better than they have. I don't expect that to happen. Give me Seattle to go into Landover and get a huge win over the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm with you here on this one. I think Seattle with Sam Darnold, they've been having a pretty good season, and the Commanders just have not been very good, especially on defense. Even with Jaden Daniels back, I just don't see him beating Seattle this week. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
And moving on to our last game of the week, Monday Night Football between the Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. Tickets at $18. They are really revolting against Jerry's World. Give me Dallas, though, to get a huge victory here. Think their offense is incredible. They're going to score a ton of points. And even though they can't stop anybody, I think they're going to get a victory here. Probably going to score like 30 plus and get a win over the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think the Cowboys are gonna get a win here. I think it will be super high scoring. So if you have anybody in fantasy from either of these teams, I would probably start them.
Yeah.
And I will say $18 is crazy. The
Yeah.
Cowboys are 3-4 and one of the more historic franchises in the NFL. So that's absolutely crazy to see, especially for a Monday night game.
Yeah, and again, I think that's that revolt against Jerry's World that the fans have started because they traded away Michael Parsons, as he loves to call him. That will be it for us this week. I'm going to leave it here. We're going to wrap it up quick. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys getting up with us and watching some more NFL coverage. Colin, if you got anything you want to add.
Yeah, can't wait to watch some of the games this week. I'm terrified for the Steelers this week. Jonathan Taylor's probably going to torch us. But I am excited to watch the Kansas City Buffalo game. It should be a really good one.
Yeah, and I'm in full agreement with you. I think Kansas City Buffalo is easily the game of the week. Want to see improvements from the Titans, and I don't know if I'll get it. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Like, subscribe, comment if you guys do enjoy, and return next week for Wednesday. More NFL coverage. We'll see you guys then, and peace.
Peace.